It's a beautiful Monday morning, viewer, and welcome to now streaming on ACNNTV, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Femi Ogundare, your handcuff for today. Of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me two gentlemen who will be doing justice to the trendiest topics before us. And they are Mr. Sunday Chinedu Heze, a political and social commentator, and Mr. Ernest Hoji, a social commentator. Joining us virtually from the United Kingdom is Honorable Precious Ubogo, a former ADC candidate, House of Representative, Isoko Federal Constituency. You're welcome this morning, Mr. Ernest.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Eze, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And of course, I want to welcome Mr. Bogle, the guest from United Kingdom. You're welcome this morning. Thank you for joining us. Good.
Thanks for having me in the program. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well, very well. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, viewers, remember you can join this conversation by calling the number showing on your screen, or send us your comments through any of our social media platforms, also showing on your screen. Let's begin the conversation with some headlines of some Nigerian dailies that came in early. And of course, we'll start with the Punch newspaper. From above the masthead, we'll see recapitalization. 5 bank its CBN targets ahead of deadline. And of course, you can see page 35 for more stories. Below that, we have 2027 coalition crisis bills as ADC chairman set terms for alliance. And of course, we know that the acting chairman is David Mark,
yes.
Former Senate President.
Yes.
Of course. For more stories, you can see page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Now, quickly to the major story. 10 states borrow 417 billion naira despite higher allocations. That's very unfortunate. Despite the increase in allocation, they kept borrowing and borrowing.
It has become a norm.
So now we see that on page 31 of the Punch newspaper. And below the picture story, Nigeria's unity under attack from terrorists, separatists. That's from President Tinubu. And for more stories, we see that on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And of course, that's what we have for you from the Punch newspaper. As I quickly go to the Vanguard newspaper. From the major story, we have it. ADC begins takeover of PDP structures in northern states. I don't know. We're still coming to discuss this. I don't know. Are you seeing this issue of ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress?
Yes.
Are you seeing them taking over? You know, these are the things we look at and on this show this morning. So ADC begins takeover of PDP structures in northern states. And whereas the former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwa, said, I'm still a PDP member, but I will work for ADC to take over the presidency.
Exactly.
He said, I'm trying to employ the Wike kind of political style.
Yes, because they have been friends since law school, so what do you expect?
So Wike, PDP working for APC,
yes.
Tambuwa and PDP working for ADC.
Wow.
Twin brothers working for a different party.
And of course, the kickers. PDP calls defectors to ADC. Good radiance. I'm loyal to APC. Zulum of Borno State said is still loyal to APC. Dismisses defection rumor. Why Obi is still committed to Labour source? So Obi is still in Labour Party, but also working for ADC.
For ADC.
Atiku El-Rufai Obi's coalition is a fraud. APC is saying that the coalition is a fraud. They've forgotten that what brought them this far is because they also came together and they formed a coalition against the Jonathan regime. And federal government reform mere optic, no solution. ADC. You failed as Interior Minister. Wike tackles Aregbesola. I'm still in Labour Party, Peter Obi. And for more story, we see page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. And beside the major, picture story, I'm contesting for president, not vice president. Peter Obi. So he made it very clear when he had an interview with Shehu Okibaloye of Channels TV in his residence that he's contesting for president, not a running mate to Atiku. So we see that also as we go ahead in this trendy story today. For more story, we see on let's see on page 40 of the Vanguard. And below it is name verification portal frustrates banks, telcos as downtime persists. For more stories, we see page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper. And of course, viewer, that's all we have from the Vanguard newspaper as we go quickly to the Guardian newspaper. And from the Guardian newspaper, above the masthead, we see NLC warns against removal of labor issues from exclusive legislative list. I don't know. From my own perspective, personally, I stand to be corrected. I believe to see that NLC, or I begin to see that NLC is like a toothless dog, Nigeria Labour Congress, under this incumbent president. Just personal opinion.
Just under this incumbent president.
Yes.
Or probably is now begin to be more dominant under this president.
When they used personalities that knew and that knows what Labour Congress stood for, you understand, against the group, what do you expect? The Labour Congress started going down since Oshomole left and started working against them.
Okay.
So it is not about whether Tinubu or whatever. Now, that's where the problem is. The country is suffering from those that knows what is where and situated where. So,
all right, let's quickly look at the headlines and be true with that. The Guardian: tariff hike slows new phone lines activation as operators get ultimatum. For more stories, we can see page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. More Nigerians losing faith in Tinubu's government. Public institutions. Poll reveals. So a poll was conducted, and the answer or the results come out to be that more Nigerians are losing faith in the incumbent president. For more stories, you can see page 5 of the Guardian. And the major story: oil theft eases despite $25.7 billion losses in 23 years as operators turn to badges. And let's look at below the picture story. Tinubu orders security agencies to crush bandits, separatists, others. I hope it's not as always the same, that he will make statements and will not see the results that will be commensurate to the statement made. And of course, beside it, we have Obi affirms 2027 presidential bid as Wike bets against his ambition. You know, Wike yesterday he categorically made a statement that Obi will never become president in Nigeria. Of course, some people said Wike is not God. So below that we have Catholic group advocates electoral reform before 2027. We can see that on page 5 of the Vanguard. Police warn Ogun Ondo residents against 7/7 court celebration. For more stories, we can see that on page 7 of the Vanguard. Senator awaits certified true copy of Natasha reinstatement order. For more stories, we can see that on page 9 of the Vanguard. And of course, viewers, we want to encourage you to please get a copy of these dailies so that you can have more information on what is going on in our country. Let me say, Mr. Ernest, let me start with you.
Yes.
Yesterday something happened.
All right.
Of course, let's start from this. now we begin to see the ADC coalition, the alliance, the African Democratic Congress.
Yes.
Parties coming together to unseat the ruling party.
Yes.
Come 2027. Are you seeing something positive come out of this?
Well, I want to start.
Or where do you stand?
I want to start by appreciating the management of this noble platform, because it is a privilege actually. Now, talking about where I stand, whether ADC or whatever, the truth is, for now, I don't stand with any of them.
You are not standing with any?
Because it is the same thing that brought about APC in 2013. Why is it that we are so passionate about unseating the sitting government rather than looking at the plight of the Nigerians? First of all, who are APC? Why did APC form? The APC was a conglomeration of aggrieved politicians who felt PDP as of that time were not giving them enough, were not giving them platform, we're not giving them opportunity to do what they want to do as individuals. Hence APC. And we were so they were so passionate about removing the sitting president as at that time without looking at the personality or what the said president will have for the country. Now, coming to ADC, who are these people? Are they foreigners, or did they come from heaven? No, these are people who who felt aggrieved, like someone like El-Rufai. El-Rufai was a staunch man for Tinubu in 2023. In fact, he was the one that represented him at Chatham House. When did the fallout come? Maybe because he was not giving what he...
All right, can I take you up on that?
Yes.
Sorry. And before that, viewers, please, you can join this conversation by calling in on the number showing on your screen, or send your comment through any of our social media platform also showing on your screen. You need to be part of this conversation this morning. Thank you so much.
Yes.
May I take you up from the El-Rufai saga as mentioned by you?
Yes.
El-Rufai came on national television to say that the president has deviated from their promise that there will be good governance, the masses will be considered first, there will not be hiking tariff and all this. What we are probably experiencing as to the hike in goods and services. But he said the president has deviated from the plan.
So
question now is falling off, not because of personal interest, but because the president has not kept to the promise made to the masses.
The question is, was there hike in prices? And was the masses, were they enjoying even while he was the governor, while Buhari was in power? So what is, it is very easy for them to come online and tell us this. The truth is he more aggrieved than the Nigerians that suffered under his time as governor, or under their time as APC leaders between 2015 to 2023? So let's forget about this. This is, for me, I see it like a romance to the gallery.
All right, let me tell you. El-Rufai from 1999, he was the Director General of BPE, Bureau of Public Enterprise. From there, he moved to Minister of FCT. And then he became 8 years governor of Kaduna State.
Exactly.
Are you saying that El-Rufai is not a better person when it comes to leadership?
El-Rufai was better when he was Minister for FCT. At least he did a lot of, there was a lot of developmental stride during his time. The same way with Wike. Let's not rule out that fact. But as governor, go back and check. Did he really do well? At least I think I will leave it to Nigerians to decide on that.
No. You are a guest. You should tell us the facts. Are you saying El-Rufai was a bad leader?
Okay,
when he was a governor.
El-Rufai was not just a bad leader; he was wicked as a leader. Because when
do you have your facts?
Yeah, the facts are there. Even let us even not go. Let us not even this is the same person. This same Erufai was the same person that made a statement that Obi can never be president. Even in 2023, that in fact he cannot even win up to 4 votes.
But now they are allies.
But now they are allies. Why is he now? Okay, now what is so special about someone who cannot get 4 votes in Kaduna, a state that has millions of persons? So what do you need from him? That goes to tell you the kind of person this man are.
So you are saying that the coalition will not work?
The coalition definitely will work. It has started working. It is not about whether it will work or not. The question now is, will it amount to something for Nigerians? That is the big question. That is why for me, I cannot speak if I am with the coalition or not. For now, Ernest is with whatever that will bring about good governance to Nigerians. And that was exactly, we saw something like that looks like that in 2023. That was why the social media political allies like us had our impact in the last election.
All right.
Yes.
Let me come to you, Honorable Ubogo. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Good.
I can hear you very well.
I know quite all right that you have been following the trending stories from Nigeria, even while you are in UK.
Yeah.
I want to ask, and you as a former member of Alliance African Democratic Congress, which has now been adopted as the coalition movement to unseat the Tinubu government, are you seeing anything good coming out of this alliance?
Thank you very much, my brother. I was actually listening to Oji. I was a bit really worried where he's getting some of these facts from, but I understand how a lot of Nigerians actually feel at the moment, and they feel like maybe, the crop of politicians who are gathering in ADC right now are same people who have been in the picture, from the word go. And I agree with you to an extent. And I would ask a simple question. If we choose to bet a new Nigeria today, can you give me a list of 20 leaders who has the capacity to actually bet, an election that cannot be reigned, that has not been in power before? You can't count 10. Do you understand? So for you to bet this new nation we're looking for, it still revolves around the people who have been in the system before, who have now understood the consequence, the effect of what they have done in the past, and they would like to do things a bit more differently. The questions we should be asking is, what is the arrangement for this coalition? What do they stand to benefit? Is there an arrangement on how anything should be shared? That is what will determine if we will go forward as a nation or we will regress. Of which you could actually, from the proposal Peter Obi has dropped, you understand that, because my interest in the coalition is Peter Obi, and in as much as I understand that a lot of people are trying to make sacrifices, including some of us who have been in the AGC, the truth is, if I do not see credence, I would not actually lend my voice. So what I have to tell you is this. In Rwanda, for example, people who were fantastically corrupt, who were known as thieves, ended up being the ones who bettered the new Rwanda you are seeing today. So there is nobody, even you that is sitting there today, that does not have a negative part that if you put on social media today, that somebody would not be able to comment. So you feel like it's actually a fantastic lifestyle. You have done no good, no bad, until you're actually put in a place where you need political critics. So I hope you get that. So to be frank, there is no sense in the whole of the country today that can come and tell us that he is faultless. What we are looking for are people who actually have the interest of the populace at heart. People who understand that politics in Nigeria currently is all about what you can get, but still have decided that, this time we are putting the interest of what the commoners can get, ahead of us this time. Let me make it clear. In this coalition of today, there is no sponsor. That is one thing that is different about this coalition. Everything anybody is putting into this coalition is a sacrifice. And it has been stated clearly. If you feel that tomorrow you come and say that, oh, you sponsor this thing and you are not getting anything out of it, do not put a dime into it. Go and find out how the coalition is actually going. And for you to know the prospect of this coalition, also try to do your findings about what Peter Obi has put forward. Peter Obi is not asking for re-election of election into power into the office of the president, and then wanting to romance with people that he cannot actually attest for their integrity. He has made it clear that in as much he needs the coalition to go into power, he has said it that he needs to be given 100% freedom to choose who he would work with based on capacity, based on credibility, and based on the antecedents of those people. And that is what Nigeria needs as a country. Irrespective of political affiliation, we should be able to understand that this person will do better in this position. And that is why no matter the rascality that Wike puts up in the social media and all that today, although I know it's an enemy of Nigeria per se, because anybody who is fighting democracy is an enemy of Nigeria. But you can also feel the capable project he has done in FCT, because it's actually a position that seems to resonate with his previous, antecedents of being a project master. That is what we need in Nigeria today. Sacrifices. So the coalition is built on sacrifices. The coalition is not a party per se. It is just a system to usher in the new Nigeria that we all are looking for. I, as a person, if I have a candidate who I feel like is more credible than myself today, running for the House of Representatives position in my constituency, I will relinquish the party's primary ticket. That is how passionate the people who are actually promoting this coalition ideology are. So on whether it will be successful or not, I tell you, the coalition will be 100% successful, because now that the Northerners understand that this is not a regional team, this is not a tribal team, this is a fight for the survival of the soul of Nigeria. And the outcome of 2027 will affect both the poor, rich, Muslim, and Christians. We are getting the best out of the whole thing. And at the end of the day, it might not be the perfect Nigeria after 4 years, but I tell you, it will set the landmark upon which a new Nigeria will be better. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you, Honorable. That's very wonderful. But I want to ask you just maybe 2 questions, probably in 10 seconds, if it's possible, as an addendum to what you said. I want to ask, Peter Obi said he will only spend 4 years. He's not doing 2 terms. Are you seeing that realistic? That's number 1. Number 2, people have started this movement as article-led movement. Are you seeing the possibility of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar stepping down, not to contest as a president come 2027?
All
Yes.
right, so let me answer the 2 questions. 4 years is way more than enough for any serious government to actually start the foundation of nation building. First, if you can pick the right people into the right offices, I tell you this for a fact. I tell you this. Imagine with the level of entitlement and corruption currently in Nigeria, the few people, the Minister of Interior, for example, you can see, even if we are against the APC government, you cannot actually, contest the fact that he's doing well. If you also look at Wike, for example, and Umahi, you can see that they have done well. If we have actually had all the ministers doing well, 4 years would actually now lead to a more developed country from where the next people coming in will continue. So 4 years is way more than enough. And the right policy is put in place. For example, if corruption is defined as corruption, and people do not go to church to do thanksgiving when they get a hold of public funds, I tell you for a fact, 4 years is too much. Now, about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, if at this point anybody is still actually flogging his ego and actually fanning him and telling him that he's the best candidate to rule Nigeria, I tell him that he's deceiving himself. He's actually in a pool of hallucination. If Alhaji Atiku emerged as the coalition candidate today, I say it wholeheartedly on national TV, I will withdraw my support because it therefore means that it feels entitled. This is not about entitlement. This is about capacity. Who can deliver? So Atiku Abubakar, he has been spoken to. I think he has also seen that the sentiment of a northern and southern election can be brought into, play, and it might now look like the northerners are trying to steal the second tenor of the southerners. So it is only fair for Atiku to step aside at this point. Do you understand? And allow Peter Obi or somebody from the south, of which I know Peter Obi is the interest of the whole country right now, to pioneer the affairs of this coalition. And this is all I have to say at this moment.
All right, Honorable, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Honorable, sorry. Just in 2 seconds. Are you saying that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is incompetent to pioneer this movement?
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying he's incompetent. For me, I do not believe in his style of leadership. You understand me? We have tested Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. We are not saying that, the VP position is more like a docile position, and we cannot really, ascertain your capacity to an extent. But before then, he had done a few things. He has a profile. Do you understand? The reason why I'm supporting Peter Obi is because prior to coming into politics, he had a life. And that is one thing I don't like about Nigerian politicians. The only known thing they do for a living is politics. Anybody whose major job is living on the commonwealth of the nation, that person cannot be trusted with power. You get? So I know Atiku Abubakar now has some businesses on ground, but prior to this time, he actually was actively in politics. So I want to try someone who actually was successful outside politics and came into politics with the ideology of helping the people. So he's not incompetent, but at the end of the day, you might still have some of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's allies, who have been, in this business of politics all these years, coming around and getting the possibility of betting a functional nation. Because if you are giving people position on the basis of you supported me during the election, you have been with me during the years, all through these years, at the end of the day, it still lead to the wrong people being put in the right positions, which is why we are back as a nation. And if you bring a candidate today that they can trace any little thing that relates to corruption to his past life, I tell you, it will be an effort in futility. One of the most difficult things for the opposition today is the fact that they cannot pin any previous corrupt lifestyle. So Peter Obi, or you cannot, hold him by the wrist and say, this is something you have done. That, but there are a lot of things that can be said about other candidates. I'm not saying that Atiku is corrupt, but you understand, a lot of people have their own sentiments about it. And for me, I would not support him, at the expense of Peter Obi. I would support Peter Obi.
All right, thank you, Honorable.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Ezra, I'll come to you. Some people are alleging that this ADC movement or coalition is fast becoming obedient movement. Are you seeing it in that light?
Okay, thank you once again for having me. Just like I said, coalition or no coalition, I want you to remember the day of the coalition inauguration. If you watched the MC, who is Dino Melaye, when he was introducing P2B, of all the names and of all the things he mentioned, he said about Obi, I won't be lying if I say coalition is because of P2B. But then, more to that is the carefulness. More to that is the calculation the obedient movement should do now, before the primaries. The issue of if the ticket is not for Obi, I will withdraw my support for coalition. I think it's too early. Now, as we are saying coalition is because of Obi and Obi's movement, is beginning to bring this fight among Obi's supporters and Atiku supporters. And you know it now that if coalition ADC play the gamble with their ticket 2027, I say it with all my heart, they will work for Tinubu to be re-elected. If
Exactly.
they gamble with their ticket, I want you to know, if not Obi, who else? If I should ask, who Atiku that stands a chance against Obi in coalition ADC today? Is there not the some Atiku that has wasted PDP's ticket for years? How many times? If you have watched some clips by Wike said in one of his clips that P2B was the hero of 2023 election.
Exactly.
Telling you that all of them know what happened in 2023. For a man like Nasir El-Rufai to come up today after supporting Tinubu and then come back calling P2B a Nollywood actor, a content creator, and today it's just that media will not show us. P2B also will not tell you the amount of begging, the amount of pleading and promises made just for him to come. Check the whole coalition. It is P2B.
All right. Let me ask you. Thank you so much, Mr. Eze. Are you saying that Mr. P2B is the only competent Nigeria that can lead us as far as 2027? And I want to say, don't you think it's an indictment on other politicians?
Wow. Indictment indeed. It is only indictment if the person have not watched P2B's interview with Channels Television. It's only indictment if we check the credibility of P2B and versus others. So if we are actually saying things, if we're actually saying making our comments as regards to P2B as a competent person to win election 2027, we are saying it with full force, knowing what happened in 2023. Not because of anything, because of what happened in 2023. All of them knew what happened. And that is why a man like El-Rufai would first come. He apologized that he has wronged Nigerian by supporting Tinubu. So I will say this, that can we actually ask coalition or ADC what is their blueprint for coming together?
All right. Viewers, I want to encourage that we call in using the number showing on your screen, and of course, sending your comment through any of our social media handle. Mr. Ernest, may I tell you something?
Just to correct
Let me ask you.
Okay.
Before you make a correction,
Yes.
as you wanted to. Looking at the key players of this coalition,
Yes.
some Nigerians have allegedly said that when you look at the former Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, he was for 8 years paying out salary in Osun State. He slashed the salary of the workers. This is fact. It's verifiable. I dare anybody to verify it. He was paying half salary for workers for 8 good years of his governorship in Osun State. He became Minister of Interior. Nobody knew him except when there is public holiday. They will bring him out and he will declare a public holiday. Now that this man, Olubunmi Ojo, has assumed office as Minister of Interior, we've seen a lot of barrage of progress and good things done. That's number one. Number two is David Mark, who was Senate President for how many times? 3 times. Senate President. Again and again and again and again. He was Senate President from Benue State. His people already said that he has done nothing. Let's move to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who was Vice President for 8 years under Obasanjo. It was said that the man was corrupt. Even his master, his boss, Obasanjo said, I will never vouch that Atiku lead this country as a president. Let's go to El-Rufai Malam. One of the things that has really played down the integrity of Malam was the issue of integrity tests and security tests that was conducted for Malam El-Rufai. And they said there was an intel that the presidency cannot joke with. That was what really cut to his ambition to become a minister. Who else? Peter Obi. I want to now ask, do you think this man, supposed saint, can undo it alone among this crop of corrupt allies?
Yeah, that's why I said that. I want to correct an impression because, when Mr. Precious was talking, I was just laughing because at a point, he tried to make it look like we are actually on the same page. Yes, he's talking about ADC at the same time isolating Peter Obi of the Labour Party. Now, does it mean that others cannot do the job? Now, that is what we are talking about. We are talking about Nigeria versus the elites. If it is not Peter Obi in ADC will not function. Now, the question now is, can't the coalition still go ahead? Because I'm concerned, there was a coalition in 2015 by these same people. The only difference between this coalition and that one is the fact that there is a name of somebody who have been consistent by saying go and verify. This is a government that can nail you with anything, including the pin in your cupboard. But until now, they could not nail Peter Obi. So there can still be a coalition, then adopting Peter Obi without having Peter Obi and others together. Because I tell you the truth, these men, whether we like it or not, have an agenda. They cannot be sent, wicked in 70 years of their life and in just 4 years. Because this thing is, Peter Obi do 4 years, then give us back. Because that is the truth. Why Tinubu said Omiliokon is because there was an agreement between him and Buhari, do and after you, I will do. The question now is, if Peter Obi rule for 4 years, what will now happen years after? Who will be those people? So for me, Peter Obi has a proven track. Peter Obi never knew he would be this big, if not for the people's trust on him. So for the coalition, I don't have a problem with the coalition. Like I said, the only thing, we are looking at the sickness without looking at the symptoms. What we're supposed to be talking about right now is the electoral reform. Because if not for the fact that the electoral process is faulty, we cannot be talking about coalition. The essence of coalition is these big wings using their talks to help Peter Obi fight the next election. But if the electoral reform is being put in place, where the result will be transmitted and all, we don't need the coalition to deliver who we feel is right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ernest. Let me take a comment from one of our viewers. It is well. That's Mobile Yonle. He said it is well. That is how they will say one time. When they get there, they will not be the same again. Atiku is incompetent. Call is paid.
Exactly.
Imagine someone pursuing a goal since 1993 and keep on failing. Let him step aside. Let him go and sleep. The coalition is a rebel group. And my Bible tells me that rebel lives in desert. Meaning, nothing will come out of their coalition than failure. That's a comment from one of the viewers. May I ask you, Honorable Ubogo, I've been able to consistently highlight those who are the big wigs of this coalition. Do you think that among David Mark, Atiku Abubakar, Aregbesola Rauf, El-Rufai Malam, and the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Ameche, do you think that one saint can suffice in the midst of this corrupt and insensitive people? Do you think Peter Obi can ever survive in the midst of these ones? And don't forget, these ones will also put in their resources to push him.
Exactly.
Do you think they will just fold their
Thank you
hands?
very much. this boils down to what I was saying earlier. Prior to now, business of electing people into office was actually business. Politics in Nigeria was business. And it's actually how much you invest that determines how much you also get as profit. And this has been the norm for majority of these people you have called. Now, Peter Obi is telling you that he's not in for this kind of business. He has dropped a proposal to tell you that he does not want anybody holding him accountable tomorrow because he feels like you have sponsored my election. All I want is your support because you believe that the new Nigeria can be better through me.
Exactly.
If you do not see the credence in me, don't support me. He has made it clear. Don't waste your money on me on the basis of you wanting something from me tomorrow. He has made it clear. He is not in agreement or a covenant with them to give them anything back tomorrow. The only thing Peter Obi is asking for is 4 years of uninterfered governance. 4 years to draw a pathway for betting the new Nigeria we all seek. After that 4 years, after testing what good governance seems to look like, if we as a people decide to continue in the wilderness, that's our decision.
Ah,
Do you understand?
that
If
one.
after 4 years, we now decide to say, I think this Buhari time will enjoy some kind of things, so make we go. That is our decision as a country. But its only goal right now is to build a template so that Nigerians cannot compare and say, is this how good governance can look like? You mean this was actually obtainable in Nigeria? And it's going to be done by Peter Obi. If it is possible to be done, it is possible. Only if and if Peter Obi stands on his tenets as a person. If he stands on this his principle and makes it clear that I am not in any corruption romance with anybody. I am not going to change my personality because I want to become a president. Allow me to choose my cabinet. If they agree, which they have actually, some of them have actually decided to say it's a sacrificial thing. Everybody contributing money today or will contribute money. It is clear. Do not contribute any money on the basis of what you get tomorrow. It is a sacrifice to nation building. Like you have said, I will not miss words. A lot of these people have their past. I will not. I'm not saying that I'm a saint, you get, but as an individual, there are a lot of them that I would never work to bring their political ideology into fruition. It's because I actually have a perception of how they operate. And Nigerians also know these people. The only person that may be a bit skinny or maybe we're uncertain about his ambition here is Rotimi Amechi. And we know that he has always wanted this presidency thing. But this is not an opportunity to come back through the back door and bring unpleasant surprises. Because I know some people have done a go of money start somewhere and they want to use to cause unpleasant surprises to the populace. What I'm also saying with this privilege, if Rotimi Amechi hears me, you are a father, you have done your bit, no matter what you actually have actually received as income from people. You don't need to become a president to prove any point. We know your capacity. Please allow us test good governance this time. Let us test Mr. Peter Obi. If after then, Peter Obi does not actually give us a footprint like he has promised, I, for one, as a person, I will give up on Nigeria and go and be acting like these men of God that recommended, even when they are accomplices with the politician. So this is my plea this morning. God bless you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable. Let me take these three trending stories, then I'll ask for your comments. The first one is Nigeria was near collapse before Tinubu took office. Malam New Rubado made that statement. Nigeria economy turning around. Akwa Ibom governor hails Tinubu reform. That's Pastor Heno. And the last one is Nigeria becoming a land flowing with tears and blood. Anglican Bishop of Warri laments. Now to Mr. Eze. Malam Rubadu said Nigeria was near collapse before he took over from the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, Pastor Heno said Nigeria now is better when it comes to economic wise. and of course, a bishop laments that no, that the country is becoming a land flowing with tears and blood. What do you have to say?
Wow. Let me start by the statement made by Ribadu. Ribadu actually, he was sincere. He actually said the fact. But where I had a little issue with his statement is Nigeria was near collapse.
Okay.
Is he saying that Tinubu had come to rescue us, rescue Nigeria?
That means he has revived from collapsing.
That was a lie. That was a lie. Since Tinubu has assumed office as the president of this country, I have not seen that revival that has taken place in Nigeria to apportion that applause to him. You know, Nigerian political system and their presidential system has made us to always miss the former president. And actually, if you see what is happening, if you ask many, they will say, Buhari, we miss you, in as much as it was near collapse. And the statement by Pastor Eno, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, I don't know if I will be sanctioned if I say a pastor without a church, because I will say if he's to be a pastor in a church, going by what he has done so far, previous weeks, his political pattern, I will say that even his church members will leave him. Because me, as a person, I can't be a congregation, I can't be a church member to a pastor who only wants to win the second tenure of as a governor of Akwa Ibom State, and then would want to force everybody in the state. If you are not careful, he will even tell the market woman to be in APC. If not, you will not eat food in your house. Are you talking about the last one? Was
the bishop that said Nigeria is now flowing with tears and blood?
Wow!
Instead of milk and honey.
That's quite so emotional, and that is true. We live in a country where you are going to sleep, you don't know what tomorrow holds. We live in a country, especially in some parts of the country like Benue State, Plateau State, and some other parts, even the southeast. Even if you go by Peter Ob's interview, when he was asked about the insecurity in the nation, he said no place in this country have peace. So what else if not that tears? What else if not that bloodshed? And the truth is that there is no passion, there is no compassion from the elites, from the leaders. How can you tell me over 200 of your citizens were killed in Benue State, and you as a president will give a date when you will go? And the day you were going, you went there obviously to make another campaign for 2027. Oh my God. And I say this, beating my chest. If the coalition we just finished, if they make mistake with their tickets come 2027, they will just extend our hunger
all right,
and
Mr.
our suffering.
Let me quickly take a comment from a viewer. Good morning, presenters. You are doing well. Thank you so much for that. The coalition should be looked into carefully. I understand that right now the situation of Nigeria requires critical measures, but Peter Obi should be careful. These men, most especially Malam El-Rufai, cannot be trusted. He is going into league with the men that once destroyed Nigeria. Their intentions can't be so clear right now, but we hope that the best thing be done. The question remains, what can Peter Obi do in 4 years? You know, people have been asking, 4 years is too small to transform a nation as ours.
Wow.
But Honorable said that 4 years is enough to transform a country as ours. And I want to ask Mr. Ernest, before I come to Honorable, that do you think this present administration has done past the past administration? I mean, Buhari administration. Has it surpassed the administration in transformation, infrastructure, in stability of the economy, and of course, looking at what the governor of Akwa Ibom said, that our economy is now better under the incumbent president. Yes.
Anyway, I think the only answer I will just give to this your response because of time is that I miss our dear President Buhari.
Wow.
That's all.
That means Buhari's regime is okay.
But in fact, Buhari was like a father to us.
He was a father to us. We
All right.
missed him.
Let me come to Honorable Precious. Honorable, as a politician, I don't know, maybe you have resigned or you have retired because now you are now in the United Kingdom.
No, he has not resigned.
I don't want to believe that you are part of the people at Japa and or probably you are still coming back. Maybe you are there on visit.
Not at all.
Your Honorable sir, is it that this
We are
incumbent?
committed to nation.
Okay, sir, this incumbent government, has it done anything that surpassed the previous regime in infrastructural development and nation building? Can I have your view?
All right, thank you very much. One thing that we must actually do as a nation is to call white white and call black black.
Exactly.
That was why I was saying once we build a template that works, once people understand that corruption is corruption, and no matter who engages in it, the person is actually against the nation, we'll have a nation that actually flourishes in less than 4 years. The major problem we have as a country is because people are not held accountable when they need to be. Now, I come back to the question you asked me about this current government, if they have done better in any way compared to the previous. Yes, the Minister of Interior has actually done extremely well. Prior to this time, we had a backlog of this passport processing and all that. The e-visa thing is also a means of generating revenue for the country right now. That is what happens when you put people who are capable into offices. Although Oyeson Wike is also accused of a lot of things currently, land grabbing. We have had incidents where SCD staffs has been arrested on the basis of exposing documents and actually, linked Oyeson Wike to allocating land to his spouses and children, which are alleged as at this time, because it's not been proven. He has also done fantastically well in improving the FCT. Also, Celestine Umahi, the former governor of the state,
Yes.
Minister of Works, he has actually done fantastically well. Apart from these three people, I tell you for a fact that the only thing that this government has done very well is to increase the statistics of the number of deaths, increase the statistics of the poverty level, make it worse. And now, before now we used to have the middle class. Currently, it has
Yes.
been buried permanently and put to until we see the possibility of, and now we also now having a nation. One thing we have actually come to appreciate more now is that the more corrupt you are, the more respected you are in this current dispensation of Nigeria. You have people who are fantastically corrupt, who are now seen as figures that should be respected in the present day Nigeria. You understand? Who are known, we know them and what they have done. So before now, people used to be a bit ashamed that these people would, they will comment, but now is a norm. You can even introduce yourself. We know them. If you look around, you see them around. And so it's a norm now. I said, give it to them. They have done well in some few areas. They tell me to score them in the areas I've mentioned, Oyeson Wike, mine, and I think his name is Olatunji, the guy in the Ministry of Interior.
Yeah.
Olubunmi Ojo.
Olubunmi Ojo.
All right, let me quickly. Thank you so much, Honorable. Let me take this comment. They have no. He's talking about the ADC coalition. They have no agenda. They came together out of hatred and bitterness.
Exactly.
They shall all be scattered very soon. Obi has failed himself for leaving Labour Party. He has belittled himself for joining people with negative spirit. When you look at Peter Obi, he has a positive heart and is not desperate. I mean, Obi is not desperate. He understands the meaning of leadership and power because he knows the originator of power. That was a comment from a viewer. He said these people came together out of bitterness and hatred, and he's trying to, maybe predict that very soon the coalition will scatter. That's his own personal view. And because of want of time, viewer, I want us to see a trending video.
Stability. 2, restoration. 3, hope for everyday life. You will not lack anything good. God will supply your needs according to his riches in glory. May God bless the administration, bless our country. I will not fail to thank President Tinubu, who appointed this man to be minister, because even though he was hiding in rivers, he didn't bring him to Abuja. I don't know, because I'm not in the heart of other people, but I know it was through the president that the minister came into office. So we must thank him. That president himself is a visionary president. He can see vision somehow. That's why he saw that this man can do something. I never know that the Muslim can see vision. But Tinubu can see vision. Whether he closed eyes or open eyes. So, President is a visionary president. So we thank him for making us happy in FCT. This year is the second. By the 3rd year, you will do better. By the 4th year, you will be running up the first phase of the first game. You hear me? That one, you will do much more better. Then we warm up for the next round of assignments. God will empower you in the name of Jesus. Now unto him who is able to save us and to render us faultless before his eternal glory. Unto him.
Now you have strength to run around every corner. Don't worry. A day is coming. You will not even know the number of clothes that are in your wardrobe. Before you die, you can be aged, and when you get to a certain stage, you will even forget that you are naked. All these ones we are doing, God will judge us. Starting with me, starting with the church. Those of us who collect stolen money, God will judge us. And those of us who tell you that this is how to do it, God will judge us. And those of you we preach to who refuse to repent, God will judge you. That is why I'm preaching today. Let there be a change. Tell your neighbor, let there be a change. For good. Not hope that will not be realized. We are waiting. Nigerians should pray for Tinubu. Encourage him. I want him to succeed. If he succeeds, my burden will be less. I keep telling you people, this white hair I'm growing, I'm too young to have white hair. It's the stress of Nigeria. Every day over 100 people are in the Bishop's Court, are in the Archbishop Palace, requesting charity. Why will I not grow white hair? When the crude oil that runs from Nigeria can make every Nigerian live properly, live as a human, they give us fake data that the oil running from Nigeria is not up to 2 million barrels, and the thieves are living with us. Anger has come to expire. Is there somebody ready to repent today? To say at the burial of Ikeklek, I heard God saying, a good name is better than riches. Because I brought nothing into the world, I will take nothing out. Therefore, I will settle with this God. You need to settle with God. My priest had told me, Papa want to build the church. Archbishop, today, why not you just tell the people to build the church? I said, yes, I will tell the people to build a new church in Kiagbodo. But if they build the church with corrupt money, will God be there? If they give the Archbishop brand envelope in dollars, pounds, has God actually noticed the gift? If they raise the whole world and yet their heart is far from God, is it glorified? The best gift you will give to Ikeklek, the best gift you will give to God today is to repent and give your soul. Know that judgment is coming. Other things can follow. Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Every other thing shall be added to you. Who are you seeking? The kingdom of God or the gold of this earth? For Jesus said, fear him not who kill the body and has no power over the soul, but fear him who can kill the body and destroy the soul. I charge you in the presence of God and of all his saints, Nigeria, make a positive change. Build up a good name. The name you are destroying now, some people built it. If you destroy it, the generation coming will blame you. Unto him who is able to preserve the righteous, be all glory, dominion, honor, and praise, both now and forevermore.
Welcome, viewers, and that is very great one. And of course, I want to encourage that you call in through the number showing on your screen, or you send us a comment through our social media platforms also showing on your screen. Of course, I guess you've seen the videos, two different videos, one platform, and two different kind of messages, right? May I start with Mr. Honorable Mbogo, our virtual guest? The sir, you've seen for yourself. What is your comment on these videos?
Yeah, brother. I appreciate your moderation of this program so far.
Thank you so much.
I think I would be very unbiased and I would say the way it is. I would applaud my Archbishop who used the platform available to actually preach to those who are the architects of Nigerian problem, who are some of the architects of Nigerian problem. Because a vast majority of those who actually live a luxurious life at the expense of the common man were actually present in that burial ceremony. The other bishop who was trying to also, help to make the politicians present happy. He played a role that, we need to show this displeasure over. You understand? He did not actually use the medium to actually speak to the conscience of the leaders. For everybody who is currently watching and saying this for a fact, do not blow the ego of anybody. Any opportunity you have to speak to the conscience of politicians, use it appropriately. What is wrong is wrong. Do not sugarcoat anything, because we'll be accountable for our actions at the end of the day, either to ourselves in heaven or to our own children's generation. Because whatever we are actually trying to make a norm today will become the corruption that will destroy the nation in the next few years. Because if we refuse to look at these things the way they are and discriminate them or criticize them, at the end of the day, the same things we shy away from will be what will kill us. So I urge the second Archbishop to look through these two other videos and understand that he should have done better. This is Christ's job, is awakening the consciousness of people to live a life that considers every other person's well-being. But when an individual sees himself as a demigod and feels that his own life is special and that of his own children is special, whilst that of the populace is equated to that of a chicken or a dog, and you fail to awaken the
Now,
consciousness
sorry,
of that
sorry,
individual
honorable
to
sir.
live.
Honorable sir, we have a caller. I'll come back to you, sir.
Good morning. It's been an exciting show this morning, and I just want to make a comment on the videos that we just watched. Two authors, same authors, but different topic, and it is painful because they are both Anglican churches. The Archbishop happens to be an Archbishop of the Anglican Church, and the priest also happens to be a priest in the Anglican Church. So the question is, where did we get it wrong? Why has the church become so gullible when we see politicians, rather than saying the truth to their face, rather than telling them the right thing, we tend to praise them for what? Because of money. The Archbishop spoke strongly. There is something about the church during the times of men like Benson Idahosa. These were men that challenged the government. They tell the president the truth. In short, it was kings that run to prophets then to know the mind of Christ. But now the church are the one running to the feet of these politicians, and then they rubbish us. And it's painful that it is the church where I because I am an Anglican, and it's painful. We saw that of Dunamis few weeks back, and how the man rejected what came from the from the governor of that state. But we praise them. And the painful thing about, if you watch the video clearly, to when he was asked to come and give a speech, it was worrisome. The first thing the FCT minister said was, this is the reason why he doesn't like to come to church. He said, most especially Anglican churches. Why? Because we beg too much. We have one thing or the other to beg for. It was a shame. It was a slap to our face. It is something that the church should look into. It is something the church should look into, because it was so shameful that wherever you go to on social media yesterday, you see things, and it happens to be the church that you belong to. I believe our priests, our pastors can do better. Rather than robbing the egos of these people, why don't we tell them the truth? We are talking about a minister that made primary school children to be out of school. And now you are praising what happens to saying the truth. If you go through the sermon, if you go through the comment of the minister, you would hear the painful things he said. He more or less turned the church to a camping ground. He even warned the church that the rubbish they planned to do in 2023 that almost costed them the office, they should better not try it again in 2027. Why? Why are we so gullible? Why are we so after their money? Why can't we ask these people to go to hell and perish with their money? And the funny thing is, these monies are stolen money. Why is the church coming to why? It is something that should be looked at, most especially the Anglican church. We should have a standard when it comes to entertaining politicians or those that hold public offices. Let us not always massage their ego. Until the Archbishop spoke well. He spoke well, and whoever hears that message knows that he spoke the right thing. And now you come and you are hearing something different, and it is painful. It is painful that he could say that the Anglican church, we are known for begging. This thing came out from the mouth of the minister, that this is the reason why he doesn't like coming to the Anglican church, because we beg. It is something that is really, really painful, and it is a call that the head of our churches should please look into things like this so it doesn't keep reoccurring. Thank you.
No, all right, thank you so much, viewer. Thank you so much. Sorry for your comment, the color. I mean, oh, thank you so much, Honorable. Can you please go ahead?
He spoke passionately. I understand your worries, my dear brother. So, like you have said, so I don't marrow around this thing. We should learn to call black black and white white. Worse still, when it's coming from the altar of consciousness, the altar of God, where good is good and bad is bad. You understand? So the truth is, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed at the other priest, but I would say I expected more from him because he's also a human and it can be induced. And it's because we as a people, we have also lowered our standard, a lot. So we accept a lot of abnormal things. If not, in that same congregation he was preaching, there would have been a reaction that will have corrected him at that instance that this thing he's saying does now resonate with the reality of what is happening in Nigeria today. But because a lot of Nigerians just feel like, oh, if the pastor is speaking,
All right,
if the priest is
sorry,
speaking,
Honorable.
he's speaking the mind
Honorable,
of God.
we have a
Yes, sir.
caller now. Sorry, Honorable. Yes.
All right. Good morning to everyone in the studio this morning. We are already in the political seasons, and I don't think some of the things that we have been seeing from both the Orthodox Church, the Protestant churches, and the new generational churches, I don't think is actually out of place. But then, what I really just want to condense in strong term and strong language is the hypocrisy of so many persons online who are choosing to want to
Sorry, sir.
or
Sorry, sir. We can
try
barely
to
we can barely hear
push
you.
the church towards a particular direction. If every politician comes to the church, we don't expect the church to carry 2 by 2 and start sending them out of the church. An adventure we have forgotten, just from few years back, about 2 years ago, we saw the way all of these politicians were moving from church to church, either seeking for prayer or seeking for engagement. And many people decided to turn a blind eye to it. But because it's an Anglican church, everybody has decided to make a scapegoat. Just some few years ago, we remember a particular candidate that came and said, this is a religious war. Is that what we want again? Just some few years ago, we saw another presidential candidate who went to a particular church just to seek for endorsement. There are videos that are littered all over the social media and the internet, pointing to different directions. And the hypocrisy of this particular set of people online is just because the venerable or the priest who spoke never tilted towards the direction of their preferred candidate. If this prayer or this sermon was for their preferred candidate, would they have spoken this way? Would they have reacted the same way they are reacting now? So I want to believe maybe many Nigerians have what would have probably called selective amnesia. Because if it calls for their preferred candidate, I tell you, the whole internet will be silenced, or it will go agog that yes, it is the voice of God. What they are simply trying to do is just to stifle the church in a particular direction. And I don't think for some of us who are also in the same church institution, I don't think some of us will be forced to bend towards this rhetoric. Let everybody come to, for example, the minister went to his parish church, that is his parish. The man who preached is his vicar. So you expect him to send his member out of the church? Even if you want to win some of these people, you win them from the outside. So please, we should stop this hypocritical and selective amnesia reactions to whatever it is that people are doing online. Let everybody do whatever it is that pleases them and pleases their conscience and pleases God. So I cannot remember the unbelievers start becoming gatekeepers of the church traditions and customs.
All right, thank you so
So
much.
please, they should let priest. He has done what is expected of him as the priest. If other presidential candidates or any other politician comes to the same church and it does the same kind of prayer, I hope to see the same kind of things that we are seeing now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that comment. And I will still come back to you, Honorable. Let me talk to Mr. Ernest. You've seen these two videos. Oh, do you have any comment?
Yeah, just a quick one. Let me not go back to what people have said, but I want to take from the scripture, 1 Corinthians 5, verse 8. He said, "Therefore, let us keep the festival not with the old yeast, the yeast of malice and wickedness, but the bread without yeast, the bread of sincerity." And I go down to verse 12. "What business is it of mine to judge those outside the church? Are you not to judge those inside? God will judge those outside, expel the wicked man from among you." You see, I will even start from the last caller. You see, selective justice is injustice itself. And we don't choose what to agree to and what not to agree to, whether we like it or not. I want to quote the statement of the general secretary in his church at Gwarimpa. He said the mistake of a leader is a leading mistake. Whether we like it or not, we cannot separate the vicar's statement from the pulpit, whether it's human or not. Now, looking at those two videos, Archbishop Oduteme, regardless of those people there, he spoke the truth to them. The last speaker did not make comment on that. Now, looking at this other one, massaging the ego of the minister. Yes, did the minister do very well as a minister in terms of infrastructure development? He's doing very well. But there are ways he would have still placed it. If he's his parishioner, you're welcome. Thank you for all that you've been doing so far. We appreciate you and all. And it makes more sense. But coming to make statements and also giving a platform, let me tell you, sir, if someone is so comfortable to make to gossip about things, about people with you, it is not the person that I will be having issues with. It is you that have that that platform.
Mr. Enos, we have
Yes.
the caller now. Yes.
Please, I just want to make a comment to the last caller that just called.
Okay.
And his comment, I believe, is personal. But I just want to say he made a statement that drew my attention, that it's his vicar, and therefore do you expect him to send him out of the church? Nobody is asking you to send a member out of the church. All we are saying is stand and speak for the truth. As a pastor, you don't have to be swayed by being because he is a politician or the head of the state. Nobody is saying send him out of the church. All we are simply saying is let the pulpit be the pulpit, and not to flatter men that are in public offices just because of what we can or want to get from them. So please, it's not about, yes, it is the church. Anybody can come into the church. Even criminals can come into the church. But they're the pulpit. Be for the pulpit and not to praise these men. Most especially when we know that what they are doing is not right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Micah, for that. So, sir, I want to ask. The FCT minister could be seen as the governor of Abuja. Could. Quote and unquote. And coming to the church yesterday, the supposed pastor gave him a platform as the head of the state, Federal Capital Territory, to speak to his people. He came there for Thanksgiving, based on the video we saw. So, and he gave him a platform to speak to the people. I want to ask, is it bad that we give our leaders platform to speak to the people whenever they come visiting the church?
To answer that, the truth is, looking at the pattern and the kind of things that is going on in the country right now, first, is it wrong? No, it is not wrong. But then we should be careful, particularly the religious institution.
All right, Mr. Eze, is it bad to give our leaders platform whenever they come visiting?
Wow. It's not bad, but then I want you to see.
Do you know why? As a viewer sent a comment that let him withdraw his statement. Our church leaders should stop politicians using our church for campaign. Wike should know that Peter Obi is an household name. So whether he says bad of him, is not the one, is one of our churches. Sometimes I don't know. Nigeria is now wiser. I don't. He's just saying that our leaders should stop politicians using our platform as a form of campaign. That's what I'm asking. Because yesterday, Minister Yeson Wike said that Peter Obi will never, yesterday, using that platform, will never become a president. That's what I'm asking. Is it bad?
Okay. Thank you so much.
I don't know if I can drop
Yes,
off
just
I want to say,
5 seconds.
I call Wike of recent. I started calling Wike the Rolls Royce minister, who actually wanted to tell us that he was never poor. Oh, you were never poor, yet you are grabbing lands and mass to your children. You were never poor, and all of these things you are doing. In his voice, usually he would say, "And heaven will not fall." Now, going back to what you say, you see, when we praise our leaders who have come to the church, you have given them the platform to say trash. If you deviate from your normal preaching because a leader, a politician has...
What I'm saying, Mr. Eze,
okay,
is it bad for the church to avail our leaders' platform whenever they come visiting?
I think, is he visiting? Because from the last caller,
He came for Thanksgiving.
He came for Thanksgiving, whereas the caller said that is his parish, his church. So
I don't know.
So which means he has been going there. How many times has he collected mic to speak?
All right, Mr.
So
Ernest, is it bad?
I am surprised.
Is it bad?
Now, talking about Thanksgiving, usually what do we do in church? During Thanksgiving, you come give thanks. At the end of it, you thank God for what you have done for the church. But when we give platform, these are the things we get. Now, I want to just quickly drop on something. When we talk about because he is his priest and all, is he going to chase him out? Let's go back to 2 Samuel. We're talking about King David and Nathan, Prophet Nathan. He came, regardless of who David was, he told him the truth. This is what you have done that is wrong. Then David, in his own part, had to take redress. Now, has it gotten to the point where if you are my vicar, you cannot tell me the truth because you feel I'm going to give you something? Now, with that statement alone, it is wrong. But giving a platform, is it the only person? We have programs where we invite ministers and all to come and make statements and all. But this one is during church service for Thanksgiving. Moreover, even the Thanksgiving is even coming for, is something that he should do as a public office holder using the taxpayer money. He's not supposed to make it look so serious. But yes, giving thanks. It is good to give thanks. But let us not deviate from the fact that what is supposed to be done needs to be done.
All right, sir. Honorable Precious, in the capacity of Mr. Yeson Wike as the FCT minister. Sorry, we have a caller. I'm coming to you. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much to everyone contributing lending their voices to what is being discussed. I'm still speechless at what happened yesterday in the church. So I just have one thing to say. Just like other Nigerians and like we've seen on social media, we would want to know the stand of the primate, the reaction of the primate Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, to this desecration that happened in the church yesterday. His reaction will tell us where the Anglican Communion stands. Thank you.
I'm coming. Honorable Shibog, Honorable Precious, may I ask you, in the capacity of Mr. Yeson Wike as the FCT minister and other governors, is it right or is it wrong to give platform to our leaders whenever they come to church?
Well, like I said earlier, I've said regardless of whoever is actually involved, we should actually call a spade a spade. Now,
We
we
cannot hear
cannot
you.
weaponize religion in where we are from. Ideally, the Church of God is sacred. It's a place where people's consciousness is awakened, where people who are actually deviating from the sane life, the Christian life, are actually now called back to realign themselves in the Christ-like life that prioritizes other people. Do you understand? So in its entirety, the church is not a place to politic, regardless of who is going into it. So in 2027, I would want to see even my interest, Peter Obi, not even going to churches to do politics. Do you understand?
All right, sir.
Not going there to speak to anybody, but them as the people supporting him on the basis of understanding that he's the best candidate. Because one of the things a lot of people would actually reference today is that there is a candidate whom his mantra was built upon, a religion, and that is what they're referencing today. But the truth is, the governor has no business going there to act the role of God. But what he has done is to tell you that he has the power to actually stamp a new authority above what has been established in the Bible. Because what Wike did yesterday is actually in contrast to what Christianity is built upon. So it's a no, no, no for me. You can come as a governor, you can be given a template to actually awaken the consciousness of the people and just thank God. Don't come and do politics, and don't use the platform of God as a means to attack your opponents. Because what he did yesterday was belittle opponents.
All right, honorable.
Yes, sir.
The priest that gave the FCT minister the microphone probably, maybe, gave him with the intention of address the people, and of course, maybe the FCT minister, as always, as he always do, took it out of context. I mean, misuse the privilege and the platform given to him. Do you think it's now the fault of the church? Just innocently asking. Since the priest does not know the mind of the minister.
He spoke yesterday. Will collect the mind and correct him on the spot.
Simple.
That this you have said is your bit, and this is not the message of the Anglican Church of Nigeria, and you cannot actually come here to talk backlash other people with the privilege of standing on the pulpit, and then tell him to retake those words, but to revoke those statements. Do you understand? I know priests that will do that. I know a lot of priests that will do that without, recourse to what will happen thereafter. And that is the work of God, standing on the right path. And that is what the priest should have done. It's not his fault, because it's not in the mind of Wilson Wiki, but having given him the platform and seeing the damage and the disrespect he has actually displayed to the Church of God, it's left for him to also correct it immediately. So I would have actually been happy to see that after Wilson Wiki spoke, that the Venerable came and then, revisited what Wilson Wiki had spoken about and, made it clear that that's his opinion and that is not actually the message of the African Communion of Nigeria.
All right, sir. All right.
It's not in there.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me take just these two comments because of paucity of time. Mr. Isaac said, the above video is uncalled for in the household of God. Very true in the second video. So, second comment now. The Archbishop stood in the midst of more prominent politicians, even the Senate president, and yet he spoke the truth. The minister humiliated the Anglican Church. The first thing he said when he took the mic, and I quote, "The reason why I don't like coming to the church, most especially the Anglican Church, It's because they beg a lot. They always have one thing to beg. We are not saying it is bad to give the pulpit for politicians to speak, but is it a must? No, it is not a must. That's a comment from a viewer. And because of want of time,
Yeah.
may I ask you, sir, Mr. Eze, to give your last word to the viewers just in 10 seconds.
Wow. My last word in 10 seconds is I checked the resolution, the Synod resolution of Abuja Diocese last year and that of 2023 is still directing one message that President Tinubu, there is hunger in the land, there is insecurity, and because of that, I guess that the priest yesterday would have used that same platform to send this particular message through Wiki to the president that there is hunger in the land. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eze. May I come to Mr. Ernest? What is your last word to our viewers?
All right. Mine is that let the church continue to speak the truth, regardless of who is involved. The duty of the church is to help maintain sanity in a system and not be in bed with the oppressors of the same system. So I would admonish that both to the people and to themselves, both the church, the head of the church should stand for the truth. And like one of the callers said, we are waiting for the statement of the primate to help clear, because to me, that is a shame. There is no way to sugarcoat that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest. May I come to Honorable Ubogo for your last word, just in 10 seconds.
Thank you very much for the way you've anchored the program today. To Nigerians, I tell you this. What you are seeing today is actually the power play between the oppressor and you that is oppressed. Nobody is actually, a lot of politicians are not concerned about your interests. The rant, you are seeing a lot of people ranting on the social media, you see some ministers jumping from one media house to the other. It is because they are career politicians, not teachers. They are thieves, and your commonwealth is what they are after. If you politicize 2027 and you think that is something that has to do with religion and pride, in 2027 thereafter, you would see a nation where marriage will become a casting because people would not even be able to afford, the prerequisites standard to become responsible people. So as it concerns the church as well, I tell you for a fact, what you saw in that video is a reality. A lot of your pastors today are in collaboration with the politicians to further plunge you into suffering. So they are not preaching Christ to you as it should be, but they are actually speaking that poverty into your life as a norm for you to continue to pray for the breakthrough that will never come through because the system is not functioning. So wherever you are, the messages that you should be listening to resonate with the reality of the life that you are living. And the Bible should become the standard of which to determine what is wrong and right, not a message that has been postulated to mislead your mind. This is all I have to say today. God bless you all for actually listening to us.
Thank you so much, Honorable. It's a privilege having you around, and of course, Mr. Ernest, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And equally, Mr. Eze, thank you so much for availing us.
Thank you.
Your presence.
Thank you so
much.
I appreciate
And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. As we call it a wrap on today's show, this is my final word. As a nation, we've come too far to be grounded, and it is too early to give up on the destiny of our dear country, Nigeria. However, the turning point is not prayer, but a conscious understanding of the power that resides with the populace, which till now has not been weeded. Until the people rise, nothing will change. And may I also say to church leaders that it is time to speak truth to power, because a mute church is a defeated church. God bless Nigeria. I'm Femi Ogundare. Bye for now.